I bought a camera in February. I posted about it in March. April, they find me. May, I do a collaboration. June, I'm an ambassador. July, it's announced to the world. Life is so good. Earlier this year, I bought a Ricoh GR camera for the first time. Actually, I bought two. It was kind of like an early birthday gift to myself because I wanted a small professional camera that I could carry with me every day and capture my life more cinematically and intentionally. And since then, I've created multiple videos comparing the GR4 standard to the HDF version, showing sample photos, sharing my custom settings and recipes, my solo trips, my photo walks, and even completed a collaboration with the Ricoh GR US team. So who would have thought just a few months later I would become an official Ricoh GR Ambassador? Because I did not think that at all. So today I'm going to be sharing more of my photographer and content creator journey with this camera, as well as some of my favorite accessories. And of course, I'll be sharing my beloved updated recipe that I use on a majority of my photographs and what really paved the way for me to become a Ricoh GR Ambassador. So yeah, let's talk about it. I am a Ricoh GR ambassador for North America. It's so wild for me to say and to understand. And we have some things coming up as well that I'm just like, wow, this is really real. So yeah, my Ricoh GR journey started actually about a year ago when the thought formed in my mind. And I know a lot of people don't like to talk about the cost of things, but I do care about the cost of things. But I told myself that this is an investment into my content career, but mostly for my life. So yeah, a year ago, I decided I was gonna get a Ricoh GR camera. And by the time I decided I was gonna purchase one, they had announced that the Ricoh GR IV HDF version was coming out. So I definitely pre-ordered it. The pre-order was taking a little long to come to the US and I was like, what's going on? So me being impatient, I bought the Ricoh GR4 standard version instead, which has the internal ND filter. I eventually ended up with the HDF version as well. So I created a full comparison video. I'll link it so that you can watch that full video. At that time, I had taken 522 photographs on both cameras. So I felt really equipped to talk about it. And that video kind of blew up as compared to my channel because at the time, you know, my videos were getting like 20 views. When I had got 300 views on that video, I was like, oh my God. Anyway, I eventually went with the Ricoh GR4 HDF version. And if you know me, if you've seen any of my content, whether on YouTube or Instagram or TikTok, you know, I am a dreamy cinematic girl. I love a glowy, airy vibe. And I always try to emphasize that when I'm capturing videos or photographs, I am not trying to capture accuracy. I want to capture a feeling, a vibe. I'm all about the dreamy, nostalgic, cinematic feel. So my colors are not going to be 100% as what my eyes are seeing. It's more about what my heart is feeling. So when I go back to look at the photographs or the videos, I want to have a full body experience with the media. And a few weeks later, I went on my solo birthday trip to Sedona, Arizona. And that was the moment that everything changed for me. I was capturing a lot of moments that felt beautiful to me and they came across in the photographs. So during my trip was when I also created my first official recipe that really made all of my photographs pop. I do have a separate video on that recipe as well, so if you want to check that out. And that's another beauty of the Ricoh cameras. You can save multiple recipes that you can switch between. I think I have 6 total that I've saved. So let's talk about my recipes because I know that's what everyone is probably here for. I get a lot of, okay, when I say a lot, I mean like 5. I get a handful of comments asking me about my recipe because I share a lot of sample photos. For the most part, I've been referring people back to my Sedona recipe video, but you know, I have tweaked some things for what I use it currently. Now, right before I get into the details, I'll have to say it again, okay? My recipe is not to make everything look neutral or color accurate. It is based on feelings and vibes, okay? We are all about the vibes over here. I love colors, I love green, I love warmth. Aside from my recipe, there are other settings that are not fixed for me. So like my ISO, my shutter speed, my aperture, I do change those pretty constantly. At the end of the day, it doesn't have an inbuilt ND filter, but with those settings, you can kind of fake an ND filter, you know? Last disclaimer, all the photos featured in this video are gonna be straight out of the camera. No editing, no Lightroom or anything. Even though I do have a partnership with Adobe, shout out to y'all. Y'all are really cool. I've only used editing one time, and that was for a Dove collaboration that I did, and I stated it in the post. So every other photograph with my Ricoh is straight out of the camera. All right, I'm talking too much. Let's get into this recipe. Okay, so I first start out with Positive Film. That is my favorite foundation. As I said before, I have a few recipes, and I wanna say half of them start with Positive Film as the foundation. To me, it has that rich foundation, and it handles all of my other adjustments and scenes that I'm gonna have really, really well. So saturation and hue, I know, is it insane? If you're here, you already know I take the colors to the max. So saturation, of course, had to be +4, and I have my hue at -4. As you can see with all my content, I'm always gonna prefer a warmer look and a greenish look at the same time, especially with a lot of the type of environments that I'm in. I work in New York City near Times Square, and I'm always at the parks, right? So these things you have to fine tune to what you are gonna be capturing. For me and my lifestyle, these parameters really work, along with the white balance, which I'll talk about in a bit. These really help bring out those blue skies, the reds, as well as the lush greenery that I'm usually around. As far as skin tones, you know, I'm brown, so sometimes, you know, I do be looking like a tomato, but I don't mind it. I don't mind tomato soup, okay? Sometimes I do see some of my self-portraits and I'm like, okay, girl, like my high-low key adjustment is -1, because while I do love that glowy, bright look to my photos, I don't want it to be overboard where I'm losing the details. So I do take that down just a little bit so that we can start a little bit at a deeper foundation instead of a blown out or washed out foundation. While at the same time, I bring my contrast up because I like the punchier look, especially because when I'm capturing a scene that has a lot of color, I want to have clear separation between the colors, the shapes, and the layers of the scene so that it doesn't just look like a smorgasbord of just color. Like for example, if you've seen my Ricoh photo walk video that I did in Times Square, that contrast really helps in that type of scenery. And then for that, I'll also have my contrast highlight as -1. My shadow contrast I put as -2. This allows for the highlighted brighter parts of the scene to not feel so harsh. I like capturing like the real darkness in my photograph, but I don't want all the softer details to just disappear. These are some of the features that I just keep at 0. So the sharpness, shading, clarity, and grain, because the GR lens gives me enough detail. It's kind of a tricky situation because I do have the HDF version, so I do love a little bit of that haze and the softness of the details, but I like it just like that. I don't want to make it extra detailed or grainy and like overcompensate and kind of remove that. So the last detail of my recipe is the white balance. And personally, with all those other settings, I think you get to a good point, but the white balance is like the finishing touches, like the cherry on top of my recipe. So like I said, I do prefer a warmer look to my photos. I love to accentuate the reds, the greens, and the yellows. I start off with warmth priority instead of the white priority. I have my white balance node at G14 and A10. And I know that sounds kind of extreme, but like I'm extreme. I'm very extra when it comes to color. Like I don't play. I mean, I play. That's the beauty of it. So the amber really takes that warmth up a notch, especially with skin tones and more warmer interiors. And then that green shift, you know, I eat that up. Make the greens look extra green, the blues look extra blue. I think that aspect is what is my real signature to a lot of my photos. Somebody had commented once like, why is this so yellow? I blocked them because how dare you? This is just how I see life, you guys. I'm just a warm, colorful, dreamy girl, okay? So here is the full recipe that got me to where I am today. I do love this recipe so much. So if you do plan on using it or using a piece of it, just let me know. I think it would be really cool. I know one person right now who's like using it or gonna use it, and I think that's really cool. I guess this would be a good time to talk about my favorite Ricoh GR accessories. Honestly, I only have a few accessories for this camera. You don't really need much. I will link everything in the description on where I got it and the actual names of every product. So the first thing I purchased, of course, was a screen protector. I don't know if you can see it, but there's already a crack in this. Wild. I also have like a sleeve that I usually put the camera in, but yeah, it's been knocked around a little bit, a lot of it. So a screen protector for sure skis. And then I bought a lens cover to keep out some dust. I like this one. It's cute and it doesn't like take away from the size of the camera. And then I bought a thumb grip and I liked it because it was long enough to reach over to this side. So it made it easy to just quickly capture photographs without me feeling like I'm pressing up on all of these buttons and changing my slides and settings. It's like, oh my gosh, you don't realize like, yes, you want a small portable camera, but then it's like, I have fat hands. So yeah, definitely needed a thumb grip. The only issue with this thumb grip is that it covers up this hot shoot. I can't even put anything. I can't even make it into a cold shoot. This is in the way. But you know who solved that problem for me? Freewell Gear. So actually like a few months ago, Freewell Gear sent me a few accessories for my Ricoh and I have not taken it off since then. I took it off for this video just to show you. But these now live on my camera, and the first thing is this thumb grip, which is literally exactly what I needed because it is long enough that it reaches to the end, but then it opens up a cold shoe. We love that. Sometimes I like to put a little cute accessory on top of here. You know me, I love aesthetics. This is really nice and convenient to have this open. Even if you're not using it, you never know when you will use it. Shout out to Freewell Gear on that. And then continuing with the Freewell accessories, we have the square hood and their filters. Let's first talk about the square hood. One of the first things I saw when it came to me shopping for my Ricoh was all of these videos and photos of people with their cutesy GR camera and a square hood. Aesthetically, this is pleasing to me. It's so cute. I'm sorry. Now it does add to the overall surface area and the profile of the Ricoh. It still fits in my camera sleeve, so I feel like it's fine. They also sent me a case of filters I'm so obsessed with because they're magnetic filters. So they sent me 3: the glow mist filter, the UV and CPL filter, and then it's a nice little carrying case for them. So they literally just snap onto it, and this has all my fingerprints on here. Sorry. This is the glow mist filter that I use, and when I say if you have the HDF version of the Ricoh and you add a glow mist filter onto it, you want to talk about an explosion of dreaminess, of nostalgia, of cinema. I ate this up so bad. The next accessories were flashes. Now, you don't need these, but I like them. I did like to take some photographs at night with the flash, and sometimes in the daytime. I think it just adds kind of that vintage feel and that 90s Y2K vibe. And last but certainly not least, we've got extra batteries. Now, the camera and the battery are rechargeable, but when I'm out all day, like when I was on my solo trip, I knew I wasn't coming back to base for a while, and I knew I was going to be taking a lot of photos. I needed the external, but on my day-to-day, one battery lasts me for a few days. So now that we've done all of that, I wanted to end the video talking about my Ricoh GR journey and the collaboration that I did with them, and ultimately how I became a Ricoh GR ambassador, because it is a wild story that took place in the span of 3 or 4 months. So I went on my solo trip in February. I came back at the end of February, and I was posting a lot of my photos from the trip as well as how I was using the camera in my day-to-day life. I was posting all of this stuff in March. When it came to a lot of the content that Ricoh GR is known for and that they share on their platforms, it's more of that documentary style, that neutral style. It's not as like bright and colorful as I like to showcase in my own content. So it never even crossed my mind that they would notice me or care. When they had reached out to me, I want to say it was around April, the US team actually reached out to me and proposed the idea of me collaborating with them and taking over their Instagram page for a few days. You guys, hold on. You guys, I just got off of a call, a meeting with the Ricoh GR US team. I'm gonna cry. Oh. And they said multiple times on this call, we love your page. We love your content. Gosh. Oh God. And they were like, we love how like colorful and warm your page is and your content is. I'm like, oh my God. And I was like, what? So, you know, we hopped on a call and we were discussing it, and they specifically said it's because they like my colors. They like my style of photos. It was really nice to hear them say that and lead with that and why they were reaching out to me. Also, there's not a lot of women in this space using the Ricoh. But yeah, that really like meant a lot to me. So it was very nice. So I took over their Instagram page for 3 days. That was in the middle of May. I had about a month to plan for this. I really was like, okay, I have to curate something that is going to showcase me and my work. I wanted people to understand my why into everything that I used my Ricoh for. I'm capturing my life in a cinematic way and an intentional way. And it really went well. I do have it saved on my Instagram page as a highlight. So you can go over there to like see a full recap and a breakdown on the collaboration that I did. Very exciting. After I did that collaboration in May, in June, I was approached to be a Ricoh ambassador, and oh my God, it's so wild. We signed the paperwork and all those things. And then in July, they announced it on their Instagram page. I don't know if it's on the website yet. They are working on getting it to the website. But even if you go to their website, you'll see that they don't even have that many ambassadors for the Ricoh GR North America. I think that's where a lot of like imposter syndrome was like seeping in. And I was just thinking like of all the people that use the Ricoh GR cameras, that share a lot of professional photographs, and they're just so good at it. I had those moments even now where I'm criticizing myself, and why me? Like, why of all people were there not other people like that were professional photographers? I don't know. I'm very happy. I'm very grateful and excited for this opportunity and all the things that are to come. So stay tuned for that. But I do have to be honest and say sometimes I wonder why me? But I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. And I know that I work hard and I do everything with honesty and authenticity and real effort. So sometimes the recognition for your work comes before you feel fully qualified for it, but that doesn't mean you're not deserving of it. I'm not gonna say I was just lucky, because I don't think it's luck. I think it's divine timing. Any opportunity that is for me will not pass me, and it will arrive at the right time. And this is the right time. So I'm not gonna downplay myself, and I'm not going to be ungrateful for a blessing that I am experiencing. I think that would be very disrespectful to do that. Well, I don't know. I'm so like, guys, I'm so excited about this. I bought a camera in February. I posted about it multiple times in March. April, they find me. They want to work with me. May, I do a collaboration. June, I'm an ambassador. July, it's announced to the world. Like, life is so good. Yeah, I am definitely very proud of myself and just so excited. And of course, let this be another reminder, if you don't get enough from this channel, that you never know who is watching. Don't let low views and low engagement stop you from posting and creating what is really true to your heart. The right opportunities are always going to come at the right time. And even if they don't, do it for you. Do it because you love it. So anyway, I hope that this video was helpful, and I hope that it was motivation as well. And like I always say, it's me and my Ricoh against the world. Shout out to everybody. I have fun. Peace.